Okay, problem 5C, 3a times the quantity x plus 7 plus 5b times the quantity x plus 7. Okay, so to factor this expression, the first thing you notice is these two terms have this family in common, x plus 7. So because they have that family in common, you're allowed to pull that family out. So if I pull that family out or factor that family out, I am left with x plus 7 is what I pulled out. I'm left with 3a and a 5b. And so the correct way to write what's left over is to put that in parentheses. So you'd have 3a plus 5b. Okay, for 5d, you have 3ax plus 21a plus 5bx plus 35b. Okay, and if you look at all your terms, so you have 3ax, you have 21a, you have 5bx, and you have 35b. If I were to do the prime factorization, this is just 3 times a times x. This is 3 times 7 times a. This is 5 times b times x. And this one is 5 times 7 times b. If you look at all of those, there's nothing that they all share in common. However, if you notice the first two, they have something in common, and the second two have something in common. So when I look at these two, I have this in common, and when I look at these two, I have this in common, and I have a 5b in common, and up here we have a 3b in common, okay? So I'm just going to worry about these two, or these two terms for a second, okay? So if I look at those first two terms, they both have a 3a in common, so I'm going to do a reverse expansion box for the 3a. If I factor out a 3a, okay, a 3a factored out of the first part just leaves me with an x, and a 3a factored out of the second term leaves me with a 7. Okay, and if you're not sure where I got those pieces from, take a look at what's left over. I have an x and I have a 7. Okay. When I look at the second set of terms out of these two, I have 5b in common for both of those. Okay, so if I have a 5b in common for both of those and I factor out a 5b, or I use a reverse expansion box, if you notice again this time, it's left over with an x and left over with a 7. So I have an x left over and a positive 7. These are the outsides of the expansion box. Now, if I want to write my final answer, or get to my final answer, I have 3ax plus 7 plus 5bx plus 7. Okay, all I did is I put these pieces together. Okay, once I do that, once you do this, you look back up here and you do it exactly how we did the previous problem.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.